You want to mess with my marriage, buddy? I'll bring your world down. Back in the early 2000s, I started to suspect my wife wasn't being straight with. Our kids were young, 4 and 6, still needing help, but old enough to talk about their day. They kept mentioning staying at grandma and grandpa's during the day. Seemed normal enough, except her parents lived pretty far out. 2-3 times a week. Felt off. It was almost every day she wasn't at her part-time job. Something felt wrong. When I asked her about it, she denied it, of course. She wasn't a good liar, so I started tracking her car's mileage. Sure enough, she was driving extra miles each week. I knew something serious was happening. Then one day I was at the computer and there it was, a sticky note with her online password right next to the keyboard. I couldn't resist. Logged in, checked her emails. Bingo. Exchanges with her college best friend, laying it all out. My wife was seeing someone, an old flame from high school. They called him Bob. Not many details, just that she was also talking behind his wife's back, making unkind remarks about her appearance after having children. Unpleasant stuff. I printed those emails, kept them safe. Evidence. But I needed the full picture. I called a friend in law enforcement who recommended a private investigator, Ron. Ron was excellent. Paid his fee, gave him the emails, told him what little I knew. Ron, like a pro, uncovered the whole truth. His report, detailed with photos, times, dates, locations, everything laid bare. Wife drops kids at her parents', meets Bob for lunch, then they go to a cheap motel for hours. Picks up the kids, back to normal life. Disturbing. That was it. Lawyer time. Hired a divorce attorney fast. My own parents' infidelity messed up my childhood, my siblings too. It was a line I wouldn't cross, not in my family. I asked Ron to find out about Bob as well, and Ron, being a great pie, came through again. Bob's real name, married, 3 kids, VP of sales for his father-in-law's company. Interesting, position and privilege, a good target. Lawyer prepared divorce papers. I also got extra copies of Ron's report, and one more request for Ron. The day my wife was served divorce papers at work, bam, Ron met with Bob's wife, showed her everything. Ron's report, the emails, the photos, the whole affair. She seemed like a decent person. She deserved to know what her husband was doing. What she did with that information, not my concern, or so I thought. Turns out the details of my wife's infidelity weren't that important in my divorce. Bob's wife, she reacted strongly. Public court records tell the story. She emptied their joint accounts, took the children, and left. Father, the father-in-law boss, found out what golden boy Bob had done, fired him immediately. And since her parents owned their house, eviction followed. Divorce was messy. Courtroom arguments, angry confrontations, the work. Apparently, Bob went to the house, started an argument, her brother intervened, and Bob ended up injured. Restraining orders, police reports, charges, even jail time for him. His life crashed. Mission accomplished. I can't find Bob online now. He disappeared. Last I heard, he left the area, probably changed his name, living quietly somewhere. Ex-wife? She did well. Started working at her dad's company, took over when he retired. Good for her. Me. My ex and I stayed civil for the kids, only talked about kid stuff. Now they're adults, I don't speak to her. No hard feelings, no affection, just indifference. She's the mother of my children, that's all. But Bob, oh Bob. You wanted to complicate my life by seeing my wife. Hope you enjoyed the consequences, buddy. Because I brought your world down and it was satisfying. Just dessert. Justice served.